few poems, I figured. To help me relax and wind down. So without further ado, let's get started. A light in the attic. There's a light on in the attic, though the house is dark and shuttered. I can see a flicker and flutter, and I know what it's about. There's a light on in the attic. I can see it from the outside, and I know you're on the inside, looking out. How many? How much? How many slams in an old screen door? Depends how loud you shut it. How many slices in a bread? Depends how thin you cut it. How much good inside a day? Depends how good you live 'em. How much love inside a friend? Depends how much you give 'em. Moon catching net. I've made me a moon catching net, and I'm going hunting tonight. I'll run along swinging it over my head and grab for that big ball of light. So tomorrow, just look at the sky, and if there's no moon, you can bet I found what I sought, and I finally caught the moon in my moon catching net. But if the moon is still shining there, look close underneath and you'll get a clear look at me in the sky swinging free with a star in my moon catching net. The sitter, Mrs. McTwitter, the babysitter. I think she's a little bit crazy. She thinks a babysitter's supposed to sit upon the baby. Prayer of the selfish child. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my toys to break, so none of the other kids can use them. Amen. Shaking. Geraldine, now stop shaking that cow. For heaven's sake, for your sake and the cow's sake. That's the dumbest way I've seen to make a milkshake. Picture puzzle piece. One picture puzzle piece lying on the sidewalk. One picture puzzle piece soaking in the rain. It might be a button of blue on the coat of the woman who lived in a shoe. It might be a magical bean or a fold in the red velvet robe of a queen. It might be the one little bite of the apple her stepmother gave to Snow White. It might be the veil of a bride or a bottle with some evil genie inside. It might be a small tuft of hair on the big bouncy belly of Bobo the bear. It might be a bit of the cloak of the witch of the west as she melted to smoke. might be a shadowy trace of a tear that runs down an angel's face. Nothing has more possibilities than one old wet picture puzzle piece. Rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, we'd travel all over the land. We'd play and we'd sing and we'd wear sparkly things. If we were in a rock and roll band. If we were in a rock and roll band and we were up there on the stand, the people would hear us and love us and cheer us. Hooray for that rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, then we'd have 1,000,000 fans. We'd giggle and laugh and sign autographs. If we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, the people would all kiss our hands. We'd be millionaires and have extra long hair. If we were a rock and roll band. But we ain't no rock and roll band. We're just 7 kids in the sand with homemade guitars and pails and jars and drums of potato chip cans. Just 7 kids in the sand, talking and waving our hands and dreaming and thinking, oh, wouldn't it be grand if we were a rock and roll band. Somebody has to go polish the stars. They're looking a little bit dull. Somebody has to go polish the stars for the eagles and starlings and gulls. Have all been complaining they're tarnished and worn. They say they want new ones we cannot afford. So please get your rags and your polishing jars. Somebody has to go polish the stars. Reflection. Each time I see the upside-down man standing in the water, I look at him and start to laugh, although I shouldn't oughter, for maybe in another world, another time, another town, maybe he is right side up and I am upside down. Summer, chirping robin, budding rose. Here comes summer, here comes summer. Gentle showers, summer clothes. Here comes summer, here comes summer. Whoosh, shiver. There it goes. The dragon of Grindly Grun. I'm the dragon of Grindly Grun. I breathe fire as hot as the sun. When a knight comes to fight, I just toast him on sight like a hot, crispy cinnamon bun. When I see a fair damsel go by, I just sigh a fiery sigh. And she's baked like a tater. I think of her later with a romantic tear in my eye. I'm the dragon of Grindly Grun. But my lunches aren't very much fun, for I like my damsels medium rare, and they always come out well done. Blaine, I wrote such a beautiful book for you, about rainbows and sunshine, and dreams that come true. But the goat went and ate it. You knew that he would. So I wrote you another one, fast as I could. Of course, it could never be nearly as great as that beautiful book that the silly goat ate. So if you don't like this new book I just wrote, blame the goat. Messy room. Whose ever room this is should be ashamed. His underwear is hanging on the lamp. His raincoat is there in the overstuffed chair, and the chair is becoming quite mucky and damp. His workbook is wedged in the window. His sweater's been thrown on the floor. His scarf and one ski are beneath the TV. His pants have been carelessly hung on the door. His books are all jammed in the closet. His vest has been left in the hall. A lizard named Ed is asleep in his bed, and his smelly old sock has been stuck to the wall. Whose ever room this is should be ashamed. Donald or Robert or Willie or... Huh? You say its name. Oh dear. I knew it looked familiar. Never. I've never roped a Brahma bull. I've never fought a duel. I've never crossed the desert on a low-beard swayback mule. I've never climbed an idol's nose to steal a cursed jewel. I've never gone down with my ship into the bubbling brine. I've never saved a lion's life and then had him save mine, or screamed "ow" while swinging through the jungle on a vine. I've never dealt draw poker in a rowdy lumber camp, or got up at the count of 9 to beat the world's champ. I've never had my picture on a 6-cent postage stamp. I've never scored a touchdown on a 99-yard run. I've never winged 6 Daltons with my dying brother's gun, or kissed Ms. Jane and rode my hoss into the setting sun. Sometimes I get so depressed about what I haven't done. Day after Halloween. Skeletons, spirits, and haunts. Skeletons, spirits, and haunts. It's a Halloween sale, a nickel a pail for skeletons, spirits, and haunts. Skeletons, spirits, and haunts. More than most anyone wants. Will you pay for a shock? 'Cause we're quite overstocked on skeletons, spirits, and haunts. Backward Bill. Backward Bill, backward Bill, he lives way up on Backward Hill, which is really a hole in a sandy ground, but that's a hill turned upside down. Backward Bill's got a backward shack with a big front porch that's built out back. You can walk through the window and look out the door, and the cellar is up on the very top floor. Backward Bill rides like the wind, don't know where he's going, but sees where he's been. He spurs, they go neigh, and his horse, it goes clank, and his 6 gun goes nap, and it never goes bang. It never goes bang. Backward Bill's got a backward pup. They eat their supper when the sun comes up. And he's got a wife named Backward Lil. She's my own true hate, says his boss and rides off smiling, carrying his hoss. Mr. Smeds and Mr. Spats. Mr. Spats had 21 hats, and none of them were the same, and Mr. Smeds had 21 heads, and only one hat to his name. Now, when Mr. Smeds met Mr. Spats, they talked of the buying and selling of hats, and Mr. Spats bought Mr. Smeds' hat. Did you ever hear anything crazier than that? Snake problem. It's not that I don't care for snakes, but oh, what do you do when a 24-foot python says, "I love you"? Superstitions. Superstitious. If you are superstitious, you'll never step on cracks. When you see a ladder, you will never walk beneath it. And if you ever spill some salt, you'll throw some across your back and carry around a rabbit's foot just in case you need it. You'll pick up any pin that you find lying on the ground, and never, never, ever throw your hat upon the bed or open an umbrella when you are in the house. You'll bite your tongue each time you say a thing you shouldn't have said. You'll hold your breath and cross your fingers walking by a graveyard. And number 13's never gonna do you any good. Black cats will always look vicious if you're superstitious. But I'm not superstitious. Knock on wood. The pirate. Oh, the blathery pirate. His name, I believe, is Claude. His manner is sullen and irate, and his humor is vulgar and broad. He has often been known to imprison his friends in the hold dark and dank, or lash them up high on the mizzen, or force them to stroll down a plank. He will selfishly ask you to dig up some barrels of ill-gotten gold, and if you so much as just hiccup, he'll leave you to fill up the hole. He may cast you adrift in a rowboat. He has no reaction to tears, or put you ashore with no boat on an island and leave you for years. He's a rotter, a wretch, and a sinner. He's foul as a fellow can be. But if you invite him to dinner, oh please sit him next to me. snap on the switch, and in 10 seconds time, your homework comes out quick and clean as can be. Here it is, 9 plus 4, and the answer is 3. 3. Oh me. I guess it's not as perfect as I thought it would be. Musical career. She wanted to play the piano, but her hands couldn't reach the keys. When her hands could finally reach the keys, her feet couldn't reach the floor. When her hands could finally reach the keys and her feet could reach the floor, she didn't want to play that old piano anymore. Anteater. A genuine anteater. The pet man told my dad. It turned out it was an anteater, and now my uncle's mad. Snap. She was opening up her umbrella. She thought it was going to rain. When we all heard a snap, like the clap of a trap, and we never have seen her again. Overdues. What did I do? What did I do? This library book is 42 years overdue. I admit that it's mine, but I can't pay the fine. Should I turn it in or hide it again? What do I do? What do I do? Gum eyeball. There's an eyeball in the gumball machine, right there between the red and the green, looking at me as if to say, you don't need any more gum today. Hot dog. I have a hot dog for a pet, the only kind my folks would let me get. He does smell sort of bad, and yet he absolutely never gets the sofa wet. We have a butcher for a vet, the strangest vet you ever met. Guess we're the weirdest family yet to have a hot dog for a pet. The me who with an exactly what. Knock knock. Who's there? Me. Me who. That's right. What's right? Me who. That's what I want to know. What's what you want to know? Me who. Yes, exactly. Exactly what? Yes, I have an exactly what on a chain. Exactly what on a chain? Yes. Yes, what? No, exactly what? That's what I want to know. I told you. Exactly what? Exactly what? Yes. Yes, what? Yes, it's with me. What's with you? Exactly what? That's what's with me. Me who? Yes. Go away. Knock knock. Clooney the Clown. I'll tell you the story of Clooney the Clown, who worked in a circus that came through town. His shoes were too big and his hat was too small, but he just wasn't funny at all. He had a trombone to play loud, silly tunes. He had a green dog and 1,000 balloons. He was floppy and sloppy and skinny and tall, but he just wasn't funny at all. And every time he did a trick, everyone felt a little sick. And every time he told a joke, folks sighed as if their hearts were broke. And every time he lost a shoe, everyone looked awfully blue. And every time he stood on his head, everyone screamed, "Go back to bed." And every time he made a leap, everybody fell asleep. And every time he ate his tie, everyone began to cry. And Clooney could not make any money simply because he was not funny. One day he said, "I'll tell this town how it feels to be an unfunny clown." And he told them all why he looked so sad, and he told them all why he felt so bad. He told of pain and rain and cold. He told of darkness in his soul. And after he finished his tale of woe, did everyone cry? Oh, no, no, no. They laughed until they shook the trees with ha-ha-has and hee-hee-hees. They laughed with howls and yowls and shrieks. They laughed all day. They laughed all week. They laughed until they had a fit. They laughed until their jackets split. The laughter spread for miles around to every city, every town, over mountains, across the sea, from St. Tropez to Mont-Saint-Denis, and soon the whole world rang with laughter, lasting till forever after, while Clooney stood in the circus tent with his head drooped low and his shoulders bent, and he said, "That is not what I meant. I'm funny just by accident." And while the world laughed outside, Clooney the Clown sat down and cried. Tired. I've been working so hard, you just wouldn't believe. And I'm tired. There's so little time, so much to achieve. And I'm tired. I've been lying here holding the grass in its place, pressing a leaf with the side of my face, tasting the apples to see if they're sweet, counting the toes on a centipede's feet. I've been memorizing the shape of that cloud, warning the robins not to chirp so loud, shooing the butterflies off the tomatoes, keeping an eye out for floods and tornadoes. I've been supervising the work of the ants, and thinking of pruning the cantaloupe plants, timing the sun to see what time it sets, calling the fish to swim into my nets. And I've taken 12,041 breaths, and I'm tired. Well, that's all for now, my ethereal beings. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I love reading books for you, and I promise you, for those of you that love my eating videos, my next video, that is going to be an eating ASMR. So, if you're interested in knowing what kind it is, guess down in the comments below. And of course, if you liked what you saw and what you heard, click on the subscribe